Okay, just want to share with you an interesting experience I had about 7 years ago. I was playing in a tennis tournament, and I had a very severe injury. At the time, I didn't know what it was, but I knew that it was very uncomfortable because it was a tournament and we're playing in the finals, and I didn't want to disappoint my partner. I continued playing. When I got home, I was in great discomfort, and immediately, being a Christian Scientist, my first resort was to start praying as I'm taught in our philosophy, in our religion. And so I did this, and over a period of time I did get some relief from the intense pain. However, it did not yield, and as time went on, I learned to live with this situation and walked in such a way that I thought that people might not be aware of my uneasy gait. And then eventually it got to the point where I was doing less and less. It was difficult for me to drive the car for long distances. Of course, I wasn't playing tennis. And although I was working, sometimes it was with great difficulty. And one day when I was working in San Francisco, a friend of mine who is a Christian Science practitioner, one who prays for people who are needing help, came to me and said, "Would you like to play some tennis with me?" And I said to her, I would love to do that, but I haven't played tennis in 2 years. And I have a sister-in-law who had told me that what seemed to be the problem with my knee was that there's a small bone in it that is broken, because she had the same situation, and she'd gone to the doctor, and they had removed this bone that was dislodged, and it gave her a great sense of freedom. So I told my practitioner friend that it appeared that there was a bone broken in my knee. And I hadn't played tennis in 2 years, and she said, "Oh, but that's not good enough." She said, "In 2 years, you should have had your freedom. And if you have not had your freedom," she says, "Mrs. Eddy has given us the authority in Science and Health to have broken bones looked at by a physician." And she didn't say to me that I should or shouldn't, but she just thought that it was something that I should pray about, which I did. So when I returned to Victoria, I went to the clinic in my neighborhood, and the doctor was a very, very nice man, and he said, "I think there could be a bone broken. However," he said, "I think there's something else." And he said, I need to refer you to a surgeon, and I'm going to refer you to the best surgeon on the island. He's the one who does a lot of work with the local hockey team. And so we set this up. And so the surgeon had me take x-rays, MRIs, all the above, and got there to him, and he said, "Well, there are no broken bones." He says, "However, there's a tendon in your knee, the ACL tendon is not just torn, it is shredded." And he says, "There's nothing we can do for you." And he said, so no walking on paved surfaces, no kneeling in the garden, no walking up and down stairs, no lunges, and he gave me a whole list of things that I should not do. And I said to him, "How long should I stop doing these things?" And he said, "For the rest of your life." And instantly I said to him, "Oh, but you can't do that. You've taken away all my hope." And he said, "Well, that's the way it is." And I left that office thinking, he can't do that. That's not his authority to tell me that I can never do these things again. But the thing that happened was it got me very, very focused on what I needed to do. And so I started really, really praying very diligently rather than just living with the situation, because I'd learned to live with it for 2 years. I returned to San Francisco, and as the night supervisor, as I'm a Christian Science nurse, I have 2 very long corridors that I had to walk 3 times a night to check on each patient. And one night, when I was in such discomfort, and it was just coming to me that, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And the thought came to me just in a flood. And I just said out loud, I am going to walk properly again, and I'm going to play tennis again. And instantly the thought came, yes, you will walk properly again, but you don't have to play tennis again. So right away the response was, no, you're going to walk, I'm going to walk again, and I'm going to play tennis again. And I just felt I had taken this stand, and I started walking with authority. And several weeks passed, and I was feeling that I had more and more dominion. And one night, and this is really funny, we're not supposed to run when we're on the nursing floor, because it's just something we don't do. It's a sense of emergency, a sense of activity that's not warranted for a nurse to do this. But one night, I just started running in the hall as I was doing my checks. And I was amazed. And so I started going for long hikes with a friend. As a matter of fact, one day we went for a 4-hour hike unintentionally, but it ended up that way. And one of the nurses came to me and said, that was living on the lower floor, and said, you know, I heard somebody learning last night, and she said, I didn't know whether I should come up or not. She said, it sounds as if there could have been an emergency. And so I shared this with her, and we both just shared a lot of gratitude for that. But anyway, I came back home to Victoria, and my partner, who I played tennis with in tournaments and stuff, I said, he's also a Christian Scientist, and I said, you know, shall we go out and hit the ball a bit? I said, maybe for half an hour or so. And he said, sure. So we went out, and we played for an hour and a half, and he was running me all over the place. And I said, you know, Chris, you're not showing any mercy. And he said, Marcia, I'm trying to find your limit, and I haven't been able to find it. And after that, I started playing tennis, and everything was just wonderful. And I don't take a step now without a whole lot of gratitude.